As an Asian American, Asian roots, Hispanic, Mexican, Latino communities, families, any other families or communities affected by the immigration rate right now, my heart out to them. Children, parents, families, people getting picked up from work, from schools, everywhere, man. What's going on right now is so surreal and so terrifying. It's extremely terrifying. We're living in some alarming, fearful, terrifying, horrifying times right now. I'm gonna take a light. Similarly to the Mexican, Hispanic, Latino families and communities, Asian immigrants also come to the U.S. for a better life or a different life from where they come from, to better their families, to give their families a better life, give themselves a better life, get an education over here. As Asian immigrants and Asian people, we have also faced dehumanization, discrimination, and hate. Similarly to the Mexican, Hispanic, Latino communities and families. We're different colors, we're different cultures, but the struggle is the same. Asian immigrants, they also have to go through the process of naturalization. They have to pay for that. They have to go through the process. It's not easy. It's not cheap. You know what I'm saying? So we also got that similar struggle. We all need to put our differences and pride to the side, look at our similarities, you know what I'm saying, our similar struggles or similar pains, just come together. We have human dignity and ethics. We all need to stay unified, man. We're all human. We all believe the same. Come together, man. Create change. Unity and solidarity for all. So,
You speak facts, sir. You speak facts. Let's continue.
Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah.
Now, I'm seeing this question pop up a lot. Why is the Asian community so quiet on the ICE raid topic? Now, I'm not speaking for all Asian people, but this is just my point of view. My family's from Laos. My parents spent years in refugee camps before being able to come here legally. So a lot of us from a very young age was taught accountability. We were getting lectures after lectures after lectures on doing the right thing. Getting our ass beat for doing wrong things. So there are a lot of Asian people that are for deportations of, illegals. And not everybody, okay? Not all Asian people are for it, but I see most of us are. And we understand why you want to come here illegally and skip the process. People just want to live good lives, do better for themselves. But there is a right way of doing things. So if you do come here illegally and get caught, you need to take accountability for your actions. That's why a lot of times if you see an Asian person get deported, we don't make a big fuss about it because, they got to take accountability for their actions. And they know that. We don't have hate towards law enforcement because, they're just doing their part. They're just doing their jobs because they didn't do their part. And we do feel terrible about, or at least I do feel terrible about, families being ripped apart. But, they know the risk involved and they were willing to take that risk. Again, you got to take accountability. And a lot of people refer Asians as, model immigrants because, we are here to better ourselves, get an education, respect law and order. We just don't want any trouble. Like, we want peaceful lives. And so if we do get in trouble for something that we did, then we own up to it. That's it. So my heart does go out to the families of the deported. Hopefully they can find their way back, hopefully legal, so that they may, live peaceful lives. And I wish y'all the best.
Hopefully, that's not the sentiment of all of the Asian people. They have sympathy, but they're having a problem with standing by their Mexican compadres. I mean, I understand they want to keep their head down. They don't want to deal with this, but most of them do, which is a good thing.
So I live in Los Angeles and the ICE raids have been going on the last few days. And I just wanted to call out some of the Filipinos online that are acting high and fucking mighty about it. As someone who is Filipino, who is an immigrant, who's gone through the whole legal process of becoming an American citizen, it took me about 10, 11 years to get my citizenship, my American citizenship. And it took thousands of dollars in order to do it. And it was such a strict process. So I get it. It's tedious and long and hard, but it doesn't give you the right to criticize people. So don't tell me you don't know a tita or a tito who has overstayed their visa, worked here for years, undocumented, just to provide for their family back in the Philippines.
Mhm.
So who wants to live in a foreign country for 20 and 30 years, miss their kids growing up, undocumented, but also paying taxes? Oh, and the lack of papers doesn't give anyone the grounds to separate families from their children and not have the right to due process.
You understand that? We're right along with you. We want due process. We don't want people just deporting people because they feel it, because they're brown people. That's not right. That's not right.
And if you're a brown girl who's convinced that you're Latina passing, you should be speaking up on the ICE raids. Some of you bitches voted for Trump too.
We still have people who really, really, really don't like black
I've been
people.
hearing about other minorities asking black people to show up and protest against ICE. Ask the Asians instead. Our shit's already being rocked. The working class ones are going to be targeted by ICE just like the Latino community. Hell, a bunch of us are already being deported and often to the wrong country. And then as for the richer ones, Trump has already banned all Chinese students from coming to the US to study and has banned all international students from coming to Harvard, which affects a whole lot of Asian international students. So anybody who looks Chinese, even if they're a US citizen, is going to be affected by this. He's put several South Asian countries on the travel ban list. So yeah, brown Asians are going to be affected too. Anyway, our voting numbers look very similar to Latinos. Just over half of us voted for Kamala and the rest went for Trump. We couldn't just fucking listen to black people when they told us to vote for the black lady who wasn't going to take all our civil rights away. And now we want them to come save our asses when they're getting whooped. Also, have you maybe considered that the feds want black people to show up to the protests? Because then they have an excuse to escalate the violence. Then they have an excuse to call them riots. We saw what happened with the peaceful protests in 2020 after George Floyd was killed by a policeman. Also, if you've been paying any attention at all, black people have been showing up to support Latinos who are potentially being deported. Look at all the videos from Compton. Just type Compton in your search bar. So why don't we do this? Why don't we let black people make their own decisions? Stop expecting them to be your personal avengers. Mobilize the Asians. I know that if I'm in front of a cop at a protest, he's going to think twice about doing anything to me. He's not going to give me the same grace as a white person, but he's definitely going to give me more than he gives a black person. And if you can't go to a protest, just fucking say something, especially if you live in California. Asians, I know there's a lot of you over there. I was born in the Bay Area, so I feel like I should say something. Anyway, yeah, mobilize the Asians. Stay safe out there.
Well, she did kind of have a point. She had a point. Let black people decide whether they want to show up at the riots or not, right? Police show up more often with riot gear on when there's racially charged riots or racially charged walks or protests, okay? Black people experience police rough handling, profiling, lethal force 3 times the rate of white people. Look at what happened on January 6th. If those would have been black folks, there would have been bodies lying in the grass, okay? More than likely, we would get tear gassed. There'd be real bullets, wouldn't be no rubber bullets. No, we're not putting our bodies out there again unless we have complete and utter solidarity. Talk to you all's people. Talk to Asians. Talk to Latinos. Unless we have complete and utter solidarity, as long as we don't have solidarity, we are not putting our bodies out there. We are not putting our bodies out there. Unless we understand, we did it on November 5th. We don't want to do it again. Nobody else is out there standing with us. We did it at 85% clip, and the rest of y'all didn't do anything. Or you did do something, but you didn't do enough. Now we need you to do enough. That is it. That's all. We're not saying anything's wrong with that. We're just saying. What we're saying is you got to do more. We saw the numbers. Did y'all see the numbers? There they go. Still hit.
So I'm actually seeing the topic on why Asians don't speak up when it comes to a protest or speaking up for our rights. Because they honestly do not think they're a minority. A lot of Asians live under that whitewashed world. And that comes from me speaking from experience. As a Vietnamese woman with black kids, I've heard every racial slur there is. Why are you with a black man? Your kids are going to be dark. Your kids are going to be like charcoal. Majority of Asian people are Trump supporters. They don't speak up. They don't fight. They don't speak on the situation. They don't even like talking about the situation. And when they do, they sound stupid and ignorant. They don't like doing that because in their mind, they're white. Majority of Asians feel the whiter the skin, the better. And that's all I'm going to say on that. That's why they don't speak up. That's why they don't make a scene when it comes to fighting for our rights. Because they think this is not going to affect them. As if 12 Vietnamese nail techs just didn't get deported because they're illegal immigrants. So let's be clear on why this is happening and who it's happening to, because it's just not Mexicans, okay?
So we know that they're targeting all of us. Latinos, Haitians, Asians, Cubans, Filipinos, they're targeting all of us. Somalians, they're targeting everybody. Arabs. So now more than ever, we need to stand together. Now more than ever. But we still have to deal with the ones in the community who talk like this. We still have to deal with these ones in the community and make him understand. Make them understand. You still got to deal with people like this in the community and make them understand.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody, but it's like I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support, the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals. It is honestly tiring because here's the thing. We want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to, if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that, you did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping in line, crossing the border and all this stuff? Why should we, be happy about that? We're not really, this is the thing where we're not really dependent. Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor, right? Not like other people. We're not really dependent on migrant labor. So we're not going to cry that the U.S. is pretty much backing what they promised. The U.S. promised, or this presidency promised, that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? Why are you crying about it? This is the thing where, you see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their communities and their country. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. So really, stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it, because you won't like what they say. You won't like what they say. So really, it's better off that they do the content that they're doing instead of, say things you don't like. Because here's the thing. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants. They are fine with it.
I wonder if he speaks for all Asians, because from what I've read, there's been a lot of regret. What I've seen and heard, there's been a lot of regret. Asians, Latins, Cubans, Somalians, there's been hate on both sides, and there's been a lot of regret. So we have to pull these people in. Look, in order to have a better union, a better country, we have to stick together. This is not a regime. This is not an administration that is supposed to be good for all of us. The Asian community came over here for opportunities. then they should allow other people to have opportunities. He's saying, I think he's saying they're not going to stop it, but they're not going to encourage it either. But that's just milk toast. We all have to get involved. The bulk of us got to get involved. And you can't be sitting on the fence. And this is what this man is saying. They want to sit on the fence. Some of them want to sit on the fence. Y'all can't sit on the fence now. You can't sit on the fence now, my friend. Not now.